Hi, I'm Megann Czekalski. I'm one of the owners of Interactive Kids. Well, it's quite a journey on how I arrived here from way back when at St. Joe's, and now I'm currently the owner of Interactive Kids. I started with an undergrad in psych and had to do an internship. And when that happened, I didn't know what I should do. So I asked my father, and he said, well, what are your choices? And my choices were to either work with individuals who had autism or those who were blind and deaf. And he said to me, he's like, you should do the autistic one. He's like, because you've been really crafty. And he thought it was artistic and not autistic. And that truly is where I started in this field. I learned so much at my summer with the individuals I worked with who were real young. And then I went to a local nonprofit that was rather large, 1,000 employees at the time, now it's more than doubled. And I fell in love with individuals who had problem behaviors and identifying why they're happening and developing a treatment plan for that. From there, I worked in a school program, I worked in a residential program, but my heart was really in consultation and training. At consultation and training, we were able to go into people's homes, into schools and other places in the community and work with those individuals where they're actually going to apply what they're learning. I then decided that I wanted to leave because I thought I could do this on my own with my business partner, Melissa, so I guess not really on my own. Together, we could do it. And we started Interactive Kids. We've been in business for quite a long time, since 2005 in October, and we love every minute of what we're doing. We work with individuals all the way from the littles when they're first diagnosed throughout the lifespan. And that's something that we both always really wanted to do. We're very passionate about helping those who are most in need, regardless of age, regardless of diagnosis. We do focus more in that obviously autism, as we already discussed, any type of neurological differences, less so than mental health, although we do have mental health services through counseling. When we first started Interactive Kids, it was quite a journey because I was the only person who left my previous employer who I'd been with for my whole 20s, and I was starting to approach my 30s at that point. I think I actually might have been 30 at that time. And I left and worked in one school district, and then started picking up other school districts that we would consult in, and some private families as well, helping them in their homes with various needs. It was scary because the first 2 years of having a business, you lose money, and that's pretty much where we were. We were just constantly trying to make sure that everyone got paid, everyone else that we worked with, which at that time was one other person, then two, and then three, and then trickled in, but still they had to be paid first. We learned quickly that school districts can take a very long time to pay you, and just because you submit a bill doesn't mean you're going to get paid in the next month or two. So money management for psych majors was something very interesting that we had to grasp. Luckily, we had a great guide with our accountant, Dan Padden, who unfortunately has recently retired, but we do attribute him to really getting us started in this field. Interactive Kids, we've always been based around the family. So our own families, us as a family at Interactive Kids, and the families of those that we're working with. That is really where we want to meet people. Even when we go into school districts and consult there, that becomes part of our extended family. We have our school team, and then we have the extended family, which are the families of those that we are interacting with. We have prided ourselves on being able to make adjustments to schedules and accommodate very interesting work-life balance with our employees. That's how we made it through all of the shutdown with COVID. We really looked at what does each family need, family of our clients, and then looked at what does each of our staff members need, or are they able to provide. So we really do try to bend over backwards to make things work, both with the families that we serve, the school districts we serve, and the family that we have here at Interactive Kids. Maintaining work-life balance, that is something that's very challenging. I have honestly swung both ways on that pendulum at times. I've gone way too far to the family side, if there is such a thing, but owning a business, you can't be too far to the family where you're maybe neglecting some of the business side, and our business would suffer as a result a little. We would slow down a little bit with the number of cases we were taking, because I had 2 babies. They're 18 months apart. I have 2 boys, and my husband was working as a nurse at that time. He'd shift work. And so we had to figure out how were we going to make all these dynamics work. I moved an hour away from any family or friends at the time, so we didn't really have a support network. We do now in the area, but we didn't then. So that made it a little bit harder. For myself, I love the beach. So one of the reasons why I moved to the Linwood area was to be close to the beach, and going there with my friends and my family, that's a big piece of it. We do all try to make sure that we have some time each week to spend just us as a family, or sometimes also with friends, things like that. So it's a constantly evolving process. I feel like for me, over the past 3 or 4 years, it's trying to figure out me and who I am. And now that my kids are older and they have their own lives a bit, then what do I see for myself? Where do I see my husband and I growing into this next phase of our relationship? So I'm working through all of that, and there's ups and downs with it, but I feel like I need to knock on something right now. Overall, it's going pretty well. So I'm always trying to strive for that, and I always do try to encourage our employees to have that as well, and work with them to find ways to have that work-life balance, because it is so important. It's so easy to get burnt out in this field, and we don't ever want anyone to be burnt out. It's so funny, because a lot of people would say the hardest parts of working in this field would be the portions where you may have someone who is hurting themselves or may become aggressive towards you. I'm not going to say that isn't challenging. It is. I actually think sometimes the interpersonal dynamics of so many different personalities working together and trying to navigate that and adjust your approach, both professionally with our clients and also with our coworkers, how you have to make those adjustments. That to me has been the most challenging part, but it's something that also helps me to constantly grow and change as a professional. So I do welcome that challenge. What is something that everyone should know about me? That I really will bend over backwards to do what I can to help others. I am in it for others. I'm not in it for myself. That's what this company has always been. Melissa, I could say, is the same thing, although she'll probably pick something totally different, because usually we do. She's always in it for other people. And talk about bending over backwards. She is definitely a person that will give more than 100%, personally, professionally. So I try to aspire to be like that. When I went to St. Joe's for my undergrad, the motto was to be a person for others, and I do believe that is my life motto, is trying to work for that. And I see out there in the field, people say that they're there for others, and some people are. There are definitely some wonderfully courageous people fighting the fight every day, but I see a lot of people who are in it for other reasons, for more personal glorification or financial or what have you, and that's their journey to be on that. But I will tell you, I don't think for me I could ever do that, because the gratification that I receive from trying to work with others that's reward enough. It really is. Well, my retirement plans, I always said, was to open a tiki bar down in the Florida Keys. But we went to the Florida Keys a couple years ago and learned that really isn't a good plan, because it's very rocky beaches. So I might have to choose a different location. But I would love that, like a little place you could just walk up, have some conversation. It's all about the social part of it. I still really enjoy that. My sister and I have talked about opening a tea house. That would be really neat in retirement, because we love tea. So maybe something like that. But I still like the idea of working for myself. I don't have a problem working for somebody else. I had a great experience previously. But working for myself, there's just a certain amount of pride in that ownership and that achievement and the investment that you have to put into it, because it really does become all-consuming at times. Yeah. But I would want to do something light. Light and really still helping others in whatever way, but maybe just in a little bit of a different way.